The G20 summit hosted by South Africa is starting off on a rocky note. We all know that Trump is not attending this year's G20 summit in South Africa, and his reasons ruffled some feathers. And I'm not talking about black people's feathers, I'm talking about the Boers taking a swipe at the lying Trump. In his statement that he released early this month, Trump said, and I quote, "It is a total disgrace that the G20 will be held in South Africa. Afrikaners, people who are descended from Dutch settlers and also French and German immigrants, are being killed and slaughtered, and their land and farms are being illegally confiscated," Trump posted on Truth Social over the weekend. He previously said South Africa should be kicked out of the GS altogether. Trump has been relentlessly critical of South Africa since his return to office. I mean, let's look at these facts. One, he ambushed President Cyril Ramaphosa during a White House visit in May, falsely accusing his government of seizing white-owned land. Two, he cut aid to South Africa. His administration expelled the South African ambassador to Washington, D.C., slapped South Africa with 30% tariffs, repeated debunked far-right claims about a white genocide, and as a result, prioritized Afrikaners for fast-track refugee status in the US while stopping refugee admissions from most other countries that are facing real crisis. It pisses me off that Trump still uses the same excuse we went to Washington, D.C. for to debunk. Then what was the whole point of having that White House meeting if he was not going to listen to a word we said? I hate the fact that African leaders love to stroke this tangerine man's ego. Anyway, the Boers are calling out what they say are the US administration's lies and falsehoods in their name. A group of Boers, which included journalists, musicians, university lecturers, and Christian groups, wrote an open letter for the media and Trump administration, and they said in the letter, I quote, "We reject the narrative that casts Afrikaners as victims of racial persecution in post-apartheid South Africa," a group of over 40 prominent Afrikaners said in an open letter last month. "We are not pawns in America's culture wars. Afrikaners have done harm in the past, and we acknowledge that," the letter said, referring to the fact that their ancestors, as well as British settlers, colonized the country. The Afrikaners later set up the apartheid system, which segregated the races, prevented the black majority from voting, and brutally clamped down on dissent. The letter continues to say, and I quote, "As citizens of post-apartheid South Africa, we have dedicated ourselves to building our country. Singling us out as victims of racialism alienates us from our fellow South Africans and harms relationships that have been fostered over the past 30 years." What a very funny letter, considering that these Boers started the White Genocide claims because they hated equality and redress. The very same Boers that voted against ending apartheid now want to take credit for fostering a relationship between the blacks and whites post-apartheid. That's BS. They fostered nothing, these people. These people never acknowledged nor asked for forgiveness for their crimes against humanity during the apartheid era. They continue to play in our faces by having mini Afrikaners only towns and establishments around the country. They lie on international platforms that black people are killing them for being white and that there are laws that discriminate against them. They put billboards saying South Africa is the most race-regulated country in the world all over the city of Johannesburg in hopes of embarrassing the nation during the G20 summit. To top it all off, besides the racism in schools and hospitals, they kill black farm workers and feed them to the pigs. So, what kind of relationships are they fostering? As far as I'm concerned, the Boers live a very comfortable, affluent lifestyle out of all white people in the world, thanks to Nelson Mandela manipulating us into forgiving these unrepentant people. Them throwing Trump's support back in his face, it's not because they think Trump is taking this way too far. No. Those ones stranded in the US want to come back home because they've learned the hard way that not all blacks are as stupid and gullible as black South Africans. No more special treatment, no more preferences. Now they want to spin it around and act as if they've been supporting South Africa and they are content with democracy and equality. Huh? And to escalate this matter, the AfriForum Boers in South Africa, together with Freedom Front Plus of Orania, say that the letter is fake. That letter was written by the black government, the ANC, to try and save face, to try and get ANC on Trump's good side. The Boers say that Trump should ignore that letter. It's nothing but a distraction. Check out this clip.
Dear Mr. Trump, there's a letter en route to you supposedly representing Afrikaners in South Africa, written by 44 woke Afrikaners who hate us, hate themselves, and detest you. The sum total of Afrikaners, just I, or myself, and AfriForum represent outnumbers the Afrikaners they represent by probably about 700 to 1. Please dismiss the letter, print it out, and glue it over every Biden portrait in the White House. We Afrikaners, most of us anyway, think you are doing a sterling job, and if we had a president like you, our sovereignty and our economy would be in fine shape, and Afrikaner lives would be protected, and our women and children would sleep safe tonight. Most Afrikaners, by far, are in awe of what you're doing.
So it's been 24 hours since Rapport dropped the bombshell that prominent Afrikaners letter was in actual fact not written by prominent Afrikaners, but was written by DIRCO, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. More specifically, a lady called Karen Burger, who is a director at DIRCO and until 2024 was in Washington. Now, there's more information coming out that she's actually a spy for the South African government, but I'm not going to get into that. All I want to know is, why has the English mainstream media not reported on this story at all? Because News 24 was the ones that dropped this letter out of nowhere. You couldn't find this letter anywhere, but then News 24 came out with the story, and then that's where it gained traction. And now that report has uncovered WhatsApp messages exposing Karen Burger. Now News 24 doesn't have anything to say, and they haven't followed up with an article. Why? You know, a lot of people accuse News 24 of being the mouthpiece of the ANC, and then News 24 comes out and says, oh, it's right-wing people and it's the podcasters that cast aspersions on us. But Exhibit A, here you are. You were the ones that revealed this prominent Afrikaner letter, and now that you have been exposed, now you don't have anything to say. This is why nobody trusts you.
At this point, there is no reconciling with the Boers. They are the most disingenuous people I've ever came across with in my entire life. The only reason why the Trump administration is not coming to South Africa's G20 summit is because they do not want to be physically exposed to the lie they've been peddling throughout the year. Why not come and show us where this discrimination and genocide is happening, Donald Trump? Why don't you come here and show us? Trump has no problem visiting Israel again and again and again, despite the whole world knowing that Israel is violating human rights. Israel has lodged a war in Gaza. They are literally slaughtering. They are the ones slaughtering Palestinians. They are the ones causing famine in Gaza right now. But Trump has no problem going in and out of Israel, in and out, marching, he. But he has the nerve of accusing South Africa of slaughtering white people when there is no evidence, and the UN has debunked his nonsense statements. Come on. You guys are, at this point, you guys are a joke. Trump does not want to come here because he knows that he'll be physically exposed for his lies that he has been peddling throughout the year. He knows. So he's I don't know what he's doing right now, dick riding on this claim that South Africa is such a bad country. I don't want to be associated with them during the G20 summit. I don't even want to be in that disgraced country. Then what was the whole point of inviting us to the White House to debunk these white genocide claims if you're not going to take into consideration what we've been saying? So yeah, I feel like this open letter, it just wants to save face for the Boers that are stranded in America. The Boers in America apparently are finding it difficult to settle in their life. They are treated like third-class citizens and they hate it. They want to come back home where they could be spoiled by the ANC. So they have now, I don't know, colluded with these 44 Afrikaners that consist of musicians, politicians, journalists, and stuff. They've concluded with them or colluded with them to write that letter on their behalf and make it seem as if they've been kumbaya with us all along and they've been participating in the Rainbow Nation. If anything, I'm very proud of the Boers, the AfriForum Boers in South Africa that debunked the stupid letter. I'm very proud of them for standing on business and showing us their ass, for showing us how racially divided, how racist they are. I'm so glad that they're debunking this and I'm so glad that they're standing in the truth, because I know gullible black South Africans would have fallen for that letter and say, oh guys, let us bring them home. They grew up here. South Africa is all we know. Stop it. I'm so glad that the AfriForum Boers debunked this letter and called it fake. But also accusing the ANC of writing such a letter as if ANC has time to be begging for Boers to come back. ANC does not care. The less white people in South Africa, the better for them. The better for them. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel.